Shamaya, you did it.
STL Music.
Is that welcome back to the show. Yo, listen up, we back in the game. Sweet the league, we got the flame. Motivated to the fullest every single day. We wake up, get in every way. Right for the two in the global inspiration. Talk this sports and top news, no hesitation. Sweet the league is back. We always coming back, that's a fact. Wanna tell them that STL music, mama, we did it, where we at? Coach Jill in the house with the flow so tight. Never done, rubber rock stats, we unite. Yeah, the best show, Monday through Friday. If this ain't different, they lying. We got the energy. When I say sweep, you say the league. Sweep the league, sweep the league, sweep the league, sweep the league. San Antonio, let's go. Sweep the league. Sweep the league. Sweep the league. San Antonio.
Hey, it's Rain Fernandez, and you're watching Sweep the League. Be sure to follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok, and Facebook at Rain Fernandez, Rayne Fernandez.
Hi, it's Sherilyn, and you're watching Sweep the League TV. Follow me on Instagram at official Sherilyn for more content.
Hey, this is George Iceman Gervin, and you're listening to Sweet the League Radio.
What is up? Welcome back on a wonderful Thursday evening. We are one day away from Friday, and the weekend will be upon us. Quick shout out. There's a pretty big sports card show this weekend over at the Shrine Auditorium off of 1604 here in San Antonio, Texas. It's a 2-day show. Normally you have a lot of people there, a lot of great sellers and people they like to take their cards and do some deals and stuff like that. I usually go a few times. So it may catch me out there. I'm not too sure if I'm going to make it this weekend, but if I do, I'll be sure to post it. So maybe see some of you guys out there. But yeah, shout out to the card show this weekend at the Shrine Auditorium. I'm going to be joined tonight by Hall of Famer Derek Gervin. Coach Jill will be back tomorrow. He's back on a cruise again, so he's using his PTO time. But yeah, it's going to be myself and Derek Gervin tonight. We're going to be covering UTSA football this weekend. So if you're going to the game, you'll be seeing myself, Shamaya, I believe Derek will be out there as well. So we'll be out there covering the game. We'll be doing with some of you tailgaters out there as well. Get me the low-fat barbecue if you can, because I kind of ate bad today and the other day. So I got to eat a little bit better this weekend. But yeah, we'll be out at the tailgate for UTSA this weekend. Yeah, other than that, let's bring on Derek Gervin, man. I got much to say. I'm kind of excited about this show right here. So let's bring on the Hall of Famer himself. I see him getting ready, so we're going to let him get ready here. But get to Tim Gonzalez real quick. Says, of course, the Tar Heels still suck. I know, Tim. Rudy, Sith Elias. Be sure to check out Sith and Brandon, Big Poppy Medina. They do a great show down for the count. It's on Wednesday nights, I believe, at 9 p.m. So when Sweep the League usually isn't live that night, check out Down for the Count. It's on Twitter. They got a great spaces there, a great wrestling show. So shout out to them too out there. Let's bring him in, the Hall of Famer himself, Derek Gervin, sporting the UTSA T-shirt. Derek, loving it.
Yeah, getting prepared for Saturday. How you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. And you? How are you doing?
I'm good, man. We're ready for some football and whatever else we're going to talk tonight. I kind of want to see what they're talking about these Philadelphia Eagles, man. Can they finally deal with the run? They had trouble stopping the run, and we know they got a big game coming up. So yeah, that kind of stuff I'm ready to talk about.
Yeah, and real quick, it's Wednesdays at 8 p.m. I said 9 p.m., but it's Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Down for the Count with Sith and Big Poppy, Brandon Medina. Fantastic job wrestling show out there. Tim's giving us an update. South Alabama up big on Appalachian State in the third quarter. Well, it's a game. We'll say that. Also, in Thursday night football, the AFC Super Bowl representative Jets. That's how I'm going to refer to them all year. And I know Joel Cologne's watching the game, but shout out to Joel Cologne. But yes, the AFC representing Super Bowl representing Jets are ahead on top of the Patriots right now, 14-3. 8:34 left in the third quarter here. So, you brought up the Eagles. I want to get into the Eagles as well because they got a pretty damn big game this weekend against the New Orleans Saints. My New Orleans Saints. I'm going to say no. I'm just playing. I'm not dissing the Atlanta Falcons on that. But they're playing one of the hottest teams, if not the hottest team in the league. So we're going to get into that Philadelphia Eagle talk as well as the Saints game. We're going to get into a couple more NFL games, Derek. But I want to kick off the show, and it sucks because Gio's not here. But I want to kick off the show to let everybody know that we hit the 500 mark on YouTube. We have over 500
All right.
subscribers. Our last number as of this show is 554. So 554 subscribers in just under 5 months. It's amazing. I applaud everybody out there.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing the show. I'm excited. These guys are excited. We're well on our way. We've got a bunch of other stuff too. And just to mention, I've been having conversations with a buddy of yours, and we hopefully still have him confirmed for next Friday. So next Friday, we're gonna be confirming hopefully soon that we will have a former three-time NBA champion, NBA champion, joining the show here next Friday. I'm not going to name names right now because you name names and then what happens if it doesn't fall through and all that stuff. But as of right now, we've got NBA champs. So we'll have a Hall of Famer, we'll have an NBA champion, we'll hopefully have a coach and Coach Gio, and then the couch potato Rudy Campos joining next week on Sweep the League, man. So yeah, I just want to keep everybody updated on that. Congratulations, appreciate that. Keep it great, fellas. Love it over. Yeah, we love y'all too, man. Appreciate everybody here. Everybody here. We will talk some college football tonight with Derek and Tim. I promised you, and we are going to talk college football. But I want to talk to you about this. So we've got NBA season coming up, and you and I talked a little bit about Wemby prop bets that are coming up. For him, I I'm starting to really look at the Spurs case right here. Now, I'm doing a little bit of thinking, I do a little bit of, a little bit more research and all, and I'm still stuck on that 30 games total won, 31 on the high end, 32 on the high end for me. But this year coming up, is there any way you might think in your mind that they could pull off a trade to make something happen with all the assets they have? Is there any idea or any gut feeling that you have that may think, you know what? They may make a move because I'm going to be honest with you. With Wemby, I love what I see, but I'm still not fully convinced that he can lead a team to an NBA title. I still think he needs a lot more help. So, do you basically push all your chips in the middle this year and get a couple of players that you know are going to help you win for years to come? Or do you still continue on the rebuild process for another year or two?
I don't know, man, because I looked at. Wow, that's a good question. I don't know what the Spurs are trying to do. So I believe Wemby wants to win now. And I thought I was hoping they could have got DeMar DeRozan, man. I was hoping that they could have brought him back. And I was
Yeah.
sorry to see him go to Sacramento. So, I thought we need a veteran. I still do. I think Chris Paul, well, I don't think. We know he's up in age.
Yeah.
And I don't think he can do it over the course of 82 games. We don't even know if he's going to be healthy. We hope he is, but we don't know. And history has proven to be where he's not healthy over the course of the whole season. So
Yeah.
that's a problem. But yeah, I still think they need to bring in another. I still
Mhm.
think we're missing another forward, to be honest with you. And it could be a four. Today it could be a four because they don't have to be very big to be a four. But I think we need a guy that can put it on the floor and that can create their own offense.
Yeah.
And they're also not a bad passer. But the question is, where do you get guys like that? A lot of these teams don't want to give up. these young players like maybe a Scotty Barnes or Paulo Banchero, those kind of players. So, what do you do? What's the alternative?
Well, and the reason why I bring this up, and I kind of brought it up because I kind of argued with myself on whether to talk about it now or later, but I brought it up because I said that first question to get to this second part of the entire question. And it's this: the reason why I say that, do you push the chips in now? Because you already see these superstars of yesteryear on the back end of their career. Steph Curry, LeBron James. You see a lot of these guys are getting already to the twilight of their career. They're getting ready to hit retirement. So, in my opinion, the rebuild will be okay. But if you push all your chips in and get everything that you want now, you could potentially start being that contender in a year or two and not have to wait that extra year or two to develop players for the draft. So I'm on that fence right now. Do you win now? Do you win later? I personally win later because I mean the 2020 draft,
Rudy,
2025 draft class is loaded.
you got to look at not just Victor. All right, I believe Victor wants to win now. Don't you believe that?
100%. 100%.
And then you got to look at the Pop factor as well. Pop doesn't have much more time, and I
Exactly.
don't think he stayed. I don't think he stayed around so they could rebuild.
Yeah.
I think he wanted to pull off something good, pull one of those surprise jobs, and I think that's what he's still coaching for. I don't think he's ready to call it quits yet, and I think he wants to win now. And they might be a team that makes a move or two during the course of the season, or who knows, even before training camp. You never know. Or they might have something. They might be working on something now behind the scenes. So we just got to give them a chance. But I think they know they need another player, another high caliber player, just like Philly got a Paul George. And I think that they know that they need that kind of player. Now, what they're willing to give up for it is going to be the question mark.
So I know you've been saying it. I've been kind of echoing it. So we've been saying it on the show is where, next off season, De'Aaron Fox is the target, should be the target. Well, if Sacramento feels that he's not going to re-sign at the end of next year, at the end of the season, then that's where those chips come in, those assets, and say, okay, we've got the picks, we've got the players. Why not trade for him this season and then re-sign him, to an extension instead of waiting for
Hey,
the
Rudy, I'm
summer?
nervous. I'm sorry, I'm nervous now
Uh-oh.
as
Why are
far
you
as
nervous?
De'Aaron because I don't know. I mean, with the addition of DeMar DeRozan, don't you think that particularly puts Sacramento back where they were a few years ago? A very good team.
I think better. Better than what they were. That during that nice little run they had, they're better. They're way better.
Okay, so they play. He brings a new addition to their team, right? He
Correct.
spreads the floor for those other guys. And don't you expect this young fella to have another breakout year again? From who you think their third best player is, other than Sabonis and Fox?
I mean, if you're not including DeRozan, it's going to be Keegan Murray.
Okay, don't you expect him to help make Keegan's game better because the floor is a little more spread? Because they got to guard
Mhm.
DeRozan because he shoots a lot of. It's not like you can just give him the two. Because he's the type of guy, if you give him the two, he's gonna punish you. So
Yeah.
there's certain guys you settle for a couple twos a game, but you can't let him get in the flow. And I think he opens up the floor for guys like Murray and for De'Aaron Fox. And so we got to see how they gel together before De'Aaron decides. You know, he might have a change of heart instead of looking at San Antonio. If it works out with DeRozan and you got Keegan Murray continuing to get better, that might be something he might want to entertain. You know, giving it keep trying to win with the same team.
That's a valid point. I will say, yeah, I can definitely see that happen. But wouldn't DeMar being there kind of maybe take De'Aaron back a little bit as far as shot selection goes? Where De'Aaron's gonna not be a focal point?
I don't think it takes away his shots because the way he plays with the ball in his hands, he still creates for other guys, but he's a
Yeah,
scorer as well. But DeRozan doesn't need the ball all that much. He's a high percentage. He's a very efficient player,
yeah.
so he's going to get his shots. If anything, it might take away from Sabonis Because if you look at it, man, Sabonis has shown us really who he is, hasn't he?
Yeah, he
So
has.
you really look at he's really more of a rebounder. When you got him rebounding the ball, getting double doubles, but he doesn't have to be that 25-point guy. When you got a guy like DeMar in there, DeMar to me becomes the second option behind Aaron Fox, and then you play off of those two guys, and that dictates who's the third wheel. Is it Murray or is it Sabonis? And that's how they got to play.
Yeah, shout out to Louis Luna, La Cocina Taco Truck here in New Braunfels, Texas. Thursday through Sunday, 8 p.m. till whenever the last person leaves. So hit up La Cocina Taco Truck. Louis is a great guy. He'll definitely take care of you out there. Um, yeah, I mean, I've seen that. So now I guess the question goes back to, okay, there's really not many guys you want to push all the chips in for this season. So let it play out. Go into the draft next season knowing you have Atlanta's pick, knowing you have your own pick. If you don't make the playoffs or the play in, then you're going to get a lottery pick, essentially two lottery picks. And, we've talked about, you and I have talked about, if they get a top three pick, it's not necessarily Cooper Flag that you may want with Dylan Harper and Ace Bailey out there. I mean, those two guys probably add more value to the Spurs than Cooper Flag. And I can't believe I'm saying that, but just go look at the tape. Those two guys, I probably would take over Cooper Flag. And that's why I say Cooper may be the third best prospect in this draft.
Well, I told you already. I've seen highlights of Ace Bailey and Dylan Harper, and they're going to push Cooper for that number one spot. And to see them play this year, it's going to be interesting seeing them play together at Rutgers. That's going to be interesting. That puts Rutgers on the map all of a sudden more than they've been in years and years.
Yeah.
And the season hasn't even started, so it's a different time, man. But look, when you look at Sacramento, they're a team. I think this is Mike Brown's last chance. I believe, Rudy.
Yeah. I would say so,
I
especially with his roster.
I believe he's in the same position as a Mike McCarthy. If they don't win this year, that's going to be lights out. I believe for Mike Brown, and I'm talking about as possibly as a head coach. But I don't want to see that happen. But I mean, it's going to be rough this year if they don't win. If they were say to go to the playoffs and go out in the first round, and then you still have Fox unsigned,
Yeah.
that's a lot of ifs, and that's a lot of decisions that have to be made. So hopefully they can have a good year. But that West is loaded.
The West is really loaded, man. And when you mentioned about Mike Brown, it's almost like a John Harbaugh situation that we talk about. How John, I mean, you're giving him a loaded squad basically every year, and you're giving him an MVP and slash MVP candidate every single year, but he just can't get over that hump. Eventually, it's going to be like, okay, we can't give you any more than what we can. So it might be time to part ways. And you're right about the Mike Brown situation. It sucks because Mike's actually, he's one of the better coaches in the league. I love Mike Brown as a coach, but where you have one team's loss could be another team's gain, and that could be, here in San Antonio. I mean, Mike Brown he's been a coach of the Spurs, championship coach with the Spurs. So that's another guy off the pop tree where you could potentially see him coming back to San Antonio. I mean, I don't know if he would be the head coach here. I think if you have him and Brett Brown, I mean, I don't know which guy you would take. I would probably take Mike Brown over Brett Brown, but I mean, I'm kind of in agreement with you on that. It's probably the last year for Mike Brown over at Sacramento. So definitely something to look out for. And that's what we wanted to talk about, to start the show off was, do you I mean, there's so many guys getting ready to retire, so many superstars, great to the game right now that are getting ready to retire or, getting ready to start talking about retirement. Like I feel this is probably LeBron's last year. I have that in my gut. This might be his last year. Play that 1 year with Bronny, let it be, and then he's probably going to go off the sunset. You mentioned that Steph probably has a good 2 years maybe left, 2 or 3 years possibly.
2 3 years.
Yeah, so I
Yeah.
mean, there goes Steph. Anthony Davis, I mean, he's been healthy relatively for the past year or two. If he has another injury, who knows? That might be okay. I might need to call it, a career. So there's a lot of guys out there that are going to be hanging it up soon. And that's why I wondered, well, is now the time to maybe put all your chips in or just continue with the rebuild? So we're talking to Hall of Famer Derek. Before we go to commercial break, I didn't see this and I'm still trying to look for it right now, but Ben Simmons traded to Golden State.
No,
That's a fake.
no,
That's got to be a.
fake
I
news.
saw.
Fake news.
I was gonna say I woke up this morning and I saw it and I thought there's no way I don't think Kerr is that desperate to go get a Ben Simmons, but made me think, man, this guy's falling off from the face of the earth, man. There's they're hyping him up in the off season with his YMCA videos and they're saying he's in the
Again,
lab. He's working.
again.
He's got that dog in him, but all he's doing is shooting jumpers. And am I fair to ask this, Derek? You worked out for many years. You played in the league, but if you're gonna post a video on social media of you in the lab working out, is it too much to ask for you posting the entire video from start to finish? I want to see those misses that you had, not just the makes. It's like in bowling when you see bowlers do ball reviews, they post nothing but strikes. So they make the bowling ball look good. I don't want to see that. I want to see the moment you start to the moment you're done. I don't want no editing or anything, but Ben Simmons, man, we can't expect anything from Ben this year.
Hey, I watched the video of Anthony Edwards, and what I liked about it was what you said. It was genuine.
Yeah.
He showed his makes and his misses, and I think that's what they need to start doing. I don't like those videos either. What's the point of watching the video? You already know it's a good finish. You don't
Yeah.
ever show the negative stuff. I think showing the other part makes it more interesting. And so I like what I hope one day we can get to that. I thought I had to tell you that was a good idea. What would you let the next question, Rudy?
No. It was just that. My other question was, as far as Ben Simmons go, I mean, there's no way we can expect him to get. I mean,
Oh man, I don't know, Rudy. He's not going to be shooting jump shots, but if he's healthy, he has a chance to have a pretty good season. We've seen it before. He actually, if you look at it, the last time he was healthy, he actually played well for the first few games.
yeah,
And then he hurt his shoulder or something. He hurt something, and then he was never the same after that. But he's the type guy. If he comes in and he comes in pretty decent shape, and he might get it off to a good start. They don't. There's no Mikal Bridges in Brooklyn, so that might
that's
help him.
true.
Give him a little. Yeah, that might give him a little more freedom. And Ben's not gonna all of a sudden become Steph Curry. We don't even have to. We've seen that picture over and over, but he's the type of guy that can help your team because he's still a guy that's capable of getting triple doubles on the night that he's scoring the ball a little bit. And so you always got
Yeah,
to factor that in. And he defends at a high level. So if
yeah.
he's healthy, I mean, I support Ben. I mean, I know he's had a rough time, but when you look at it, he's still a very talented player.
He's talented, man. But I know you probably saw the video. The jump shot has a little bit of Joakim Noah to it. Saw it looked like it had that spin, that world spin. I'm like, what is? I've never seen Ben shoot like that. He's coming off like the side, and it's just awkward. I'm like, I never noticed that. If that was his shot the entire time, I never noticed it.
It's
But yeah,
it has no control. His shot, he has no control over it. The ball,
no,
it shoots a different way. He shoots a different way every time.
yeah.
But
Well,
we don't even have
before
to worry. We don't have to worry about that because he's not going to shoot outside anyway. So
we got to get him on the court first, and we have Leha. I love Leha, man. He just tells you like it is. Ben Simmons is trash. He always tells us like it
he,
is, man.
he's trash as far as scorer. He's not trash as far as a player.
He
He
can
can do
defend.
some of everything. Yeah, but he can also get assists. Ben is good at getting assists, starting a fast break, and he does that kind of stuff. And he's a pretty good rebounder. So he's got a lot of positives. He just can't score the ball.
Yeah, he's like a recycle bin. He's not trash. He's just the recycle. The recycle can is all Ben
He's
Simmons
not much different than a Draymond in Golden State.
Yeah, they're both. Neither both are scorers. That's for dang
They
sure.
do
No
all
doubt about
they do
that.
all the other things. He might get you 2 or 3 steals. And he might get a block or two. I mean, Ben's capable of doing all those other things. He just needs to quit trying to fool people with the offensive arsenal that we know he doesn't have.
Yeah, it's like me. I own a large t-shirt. I'm not going to try to wear it and say that I can fit into a large, but you can't fool anybody, man. Leha, what's up, everyone? How's it? We're doing good, Chris. That's Christopher Leha, MCS General Contracting, big sponsor. And another reason why we are sitting at well over 500 subscribers on our YouTube page. Thank you, everybody. Trying to get to 1,000, but I feel we'll get to 1,000 here pretty quick. Here, we are going to be doing some giveaways. We said 500 subscribers. If you're a subscriber, stay tuned because some of these giveaways are going to be ridiculous. Also, like I said, hopefully next Friday we'll have our first major guest on the show. We'll make the announcement as soon as the confirmation, which is about 99% confident or confirmed right now. But once we get the full confirmation, we'll make that announcement. So, deep in his heart, Rudy is begging the Spurs to draft Cooper Flag so he can have another Duke player to talk about. Once they get into the league, the college doesn't matter to me. So, I rooted for Danny Ferry when he was a Spur for a little while. So, I mean, come on, I can get over that once they're in the league. But nonetheless, man, it is Hall of Famer Derek Gervin, Rudy Campos Jr. We're going to take a quick commercial break. On the way back, college football weekend is upon us. We got, game tonight, but we're looking at some of the college football games this weekend. Get Derek's thoughts on that. Also, NFL weekend, big game, Saints, Eagles. You got another one, Baltimore, Dallas. We'll get Derek's takes on that as well. As this is the Thursday Throwdown edition of Sweep the League, Hall of Famer Derek Gervin, Rudy Campos Jr. We will be back. Are you looking for a contracting company that gets the job done right the first time? Look no further than MCS General Contracting. MCS specializes in top quality concrete work, including patios, driveways, foundations, and swimming pools. The team of experts are dedicated to delivering exceptional results and unparalleled customer satisfaction. At MCS General Contracting, they're not just hardworking, they're local. Based in San Antonio, they are committed to building relationships and trust within the community. That's why MCS guarantees your satisfaction. They pride themselves on getting the job done right the first time, every time. So why wait? Contract MCS General Contracting today to schedule your project and experience the difference for yourself. MCS General Contracting. Building a better San Antonio, one project at a time. Proud sponsors of Sweep the League. Hey guys, are you ready for a flavor explosion? Look no further than La Cocina Taco Truck, serving up the best street tacos and quesadillas in New Braunfels. With a 5-star rating and rave reviews, they're not just a taco truck. They are a taste sensation. La Cocina staff is the best in town and pride themselves on making every customer feel like family. Whether you're feeding a crowd or just satisfying your own cravings, they've got you covered because no order is too big or too small for them there. Louis and his staff are all about customer satisfaction and they love their community. Don't worry, San Antonio friends. They're just a short trip away to New Braunfels. So why wait? Come visit La Cocina Taco Truck today and taste the difference for yourself. That's La Cocina Taco Truck, where every bite is a fiesta. Proud sponsors of Sweep the League.
Yeah, this for the family. Loyalty, respect, honor. You know what it is. STL music. Let's get it. We the ones, never folded on ourselves, no bluffing. Legacy we building, man, this ain't up for discussion. They wanted us to quit, but we dug in deep. Motivated to the fullest, dreams ain't meant for sleep. On the grind 24/7, no time for rest. We making moves, calculated like a master chess.
All right, welcome back to Sweep the League. Hall of Famer Derek Gervin, Rudy Campos Jr. Shout out to MCS General Contracting, La Cocina Taco Truck, great sponsors of Sweep the League. Family, October 1st, the first album from STL Music and SOTB will be released on October 1st. Be sure to go grab it. It's going to have a lot of great hits on there. You can also go to Spotify, search SOTB basically and STL Music. you can get some early not copies, but early music from that album as well. A few of the songs are out there already, so be sure to check it out. It's going to be October 1st. Family, the album from STL Music and SOTB. I got some comments in here. We've got Tim Gonzalez is saying, finally college football talk. I promised him. So he's been asking this. He wants your opinion on this. So UTSA Texas last weekend. There were some Spurs players there. Devin Vassell, Mamu. Now Manu was there too, but a lot of the guys were wearing Longhorn gear. Keldon Johnson was there, but he was in UTSA gear.
Mhm.
Some people found it very disrespectful for San Antonio Spurs players to wear Texas Longhorn gear to cheer for the Longhorns, knowing that you've got UTSA in, the backyard and that should be the team you should root for. Personally, I don't have a problem with it. I mean, it's choice. I mean, just because you live in a city or play for a team doesn't necessarily mean that has to be your favorite team or anything like that. I mean, it's personal choice, but Tim's directing the question to you. So your reaction on some of the Spurs players wearing Texas gear?
I don't have a problem with it, and the reason I don't is because those guys aren't from San Antonio, if even from Texas. So they got people that they want to root for. Maybe they like the Longhorns. I mean, I don't know their history. The guys, these history as far as football, and for Keldon to wear UTSA, I mean, I don't see anything wrong with that either. This is just fun, man. I think we've gotten a little too serious about this game. And we got to remember, these are still young people that are in college, and it's about just enjoying the game. You should be able to go to the tailgate party and enjoy yourself without having about worried about being in a fight or being shot, that kind of stuff. And I don't have a problem with it, man. Let these people play football, and if they want to wear these jerseys, I mean, they supporting teams. At least they're out there. I'm just happy they're out there, and whatever shirt they choose to wear, that's on them.
Yeah, I'm that's what I am. I don't have an issue with it at all. There's no problem with it. I mean, even if they are from San Antonio, say they were born and raised in San Antonio, it doesn't matter to me. If you support UTSA, you support Texas. It's not like they don't support UTSA. I mean, we see them at some of the home football games. A couple of times they'll roll into a college, one of the UTSA games. I mean, they still have ties to UTSA, so I don't have a problem with it. Those that do have a problem with it, I mean, I'd like to
Hey,
hear
hey,
what.
Hey Rudy, what if I had on like some orange, nice gym shoes, some nice kicks I just got, right? So break out some orange, some Nikes, some orange and white Nikes or something, and I
Yeah,
don't have any colors that match other than a Texas shirt that's orange, a Longhorn, might even a Longhorn symbol on it. I'm not gonna have it with some guy's name on the back of the shirt and all that kind of stuff. But
yeah,
sometimes you just wear stuff. I'm in Texas. I'm from Michigan, but I've been down here so many years now. It's like I'm a Texan. So if I
yeah,
just wanted to wear Texas Longhorns gear, I used to know Pat Maloney, the lawyer, and
yeah.
so he was a big Texas fan. But we never had a problem with me going, being a UTSA guy. It was all in fun. And if I was aware, if I lost a bet, I would be wearing a Longhorn jersey. So, I try to see the fun part of it more than making it a serious issue.
Yeah, there's really no issue to it at all. If anybody's got problems with it, I mean, come on, you got to get over that. There's no reason to be upset over anything like that. I mean, hell, if San Antonio got an NFL team and you're like, we're supporting San Antonio, whatever, they're the new NFL team. You mean to tell me that just because a San Antonio team came to San Antonio, a team came to San Antonio, that instantly Cowboy fans are supposed to go away? Instantly Texan fans are supposed to go away? I mean, it's not like that. I mean, I don't have a problem. If you support UTSA and you support Texas, cool. Support both teams. I mean, they're still Texas teams. I don't No one should be able to, get upset over anything like that. Let's just say the majority of San Antonio people are Longhorn fans in UTSA. I mean, they were Longhorn fans long before, I'm pretty sure. So again, no
we got
whatsoever.
Hey, we don't have the financial backing of University of Texas
Mm-mm.
Austin, so
No.
naturally they're going to have more fans. They're going to have a bigger following. That's like looking at the Cowboys as opposed to a lower market. And that lower market might be a better team, but which team's going to get the most notoriety over the course of the year is going to be the Cowboys, the team
Yeah.
that has the money. And it's the
Oh yeah.
same thing with Texas Longhorn. What school has more money than them in the athletic department? So of course they're going to get the most notoriety.
Oh yeah. 100% of it. But nonetheless, it's not a big issue to either one of us. I'm pretty sure it just made a big thing just to stir up controversy. Pretty much is all we're looking at here. Let's share the schedule right now for Derek Irvin and I. So I'm going to get into just top 25 games for this weekend, but there are two games that I have circled. Both of them involve 2-0 teams, Derek. So Stanford and Syracuse. Syracuse has been playing out their mind the first 2 weeks. I love Syracuse, and that was one team that when we talked about the ACC, that could be that team that could shock a lot of people. They're shocking the hell out of me because they're coming out, relatively strong. That's a team that I feel should be ranked. If they beat Stanford, they are 8.5 favorites over Stanford. So I feel that they're going to be able to take care of Stanford this weekend. I've got Syracuse winning this game. The other game highlighted is the game that I told the team that I went on Twitter and I said the NCAA are cowards right now. The committee are cowards because they can't rank Indiana, the Hoosiers. So I'm hoping that after they beat Charlotte, they'll give them a little bit of love and at least give them that 25th spot on the rankings. But for me, in those two games that are not, part of any ranked team, I've got Syracuse beating Stanford. I like Indiana to beat Charlotte, but the way these two teams have played, they've got to be in the rankings somewhere. They got to be climbing that mountain a little bit more. But for Syracuse, Stanford, what are you looking at in that game? Who do you have winning that game?
Syracuse has been playing pretty good football. And I think on both sides of the ball, they're not a bad team. So I think they're going to continue to get better as the season goes on. Of course, their competition is not going to be easy as the year goes on, but I think they're a solid team. I expect them to beat Stanford. I even expect them. This is an 8-point favorite.
8.5. 8.5 right now.
Yeah, I'm gonna take them by double figures. I'm gonna take Stanford to lose that game by 13, 14 points. I think they just a better team.
Yeah,
Syracuse better team. Now
Kyle McCord.
Indiana.
Go ahead, go ahead.
Hey, Rudy, Indiana is pretty darn good.
Yeah. Gio's been
They're
telling us
really,
we don't listen.
well. He started at the beginning of the year, remember? So I'm gonna give him some credit.
Yeah.
I kind of remember like laughing at the first week of the season. I remember when he first mentioned Indiana. I was like, yeah, right. We've seen that picture before. But if you really look at them, they're a really good team, and I think a top 25 team.
Yeah.
And I'm going to pick them to run over Charlotte. Well, I don't know the point spread, but
28
that
and a
that
half.
I think, yeah, that's a beat down. That's a 35, 36 point win. I think Indiana's that good.
Yeah, but you're looking at Kyle McCord for Syracuse. He's having a great year this year. Not only that, Curtis Rourke for Indiana, the quarterback there. I mean, both guys. Rourke has 7 touchdowns on the year. McCord has 8 in the air. I mean, they're just playing out of their mind right now, both teams. So it's going to be a fun weekend. Let's get into some top 25 teams right here. That way we can go through the top 25. So one of the marquee games this weekend in the top 25, Derek, is going to be Illinois, Nebraska. Nebraska obviously coming off of that Colorado win. Illinois just creeping up on the standings there a little bit. Another team that you don't really hear a whole lot about. Illinois, Nebraska. Nebraska's favored by 7.5. Making it simple. I'm going to take Nebraska in this game.
They're playing in Nebraska.
Yes, sir. Tom Osborne Field in Nebraska.
Man, that's a tough one. I don't
Could
know,
go either way.
Rudy.
Could go either way. I mean, it really can.
Man, I think Illinois is not as bad as people think. I guess I'm gonna go with Nebraska by 3. So yeah, I'll take Nebraska. I think Nebraska. It wasn't a fluke when they won the first game. They're not a bad team. So yeah, I'm gonna take Nebraska.
Yeah, and Rayola's not doing too bad. I think if you're wanting to take Illinois with Luke Altmaier at quarterback for Illinois, it's one of those things where I like Caden Fagan on the ground as well. It wouldn't shock me to see Illinois win this game. Not at all. I think Illinois has the talent to win this game. I just think that home field advantage I definitely would take Illinois in the points in this game. I think it's going to be a lot closer than 7.5. I think it's probably going to be like a 4-point win if Nebraska comes out of it. Maybe like 24-20, 34-30,
Yeah, I was
something
gonna
like
say
that.
20. I was gonna say first team to 21. Yeah, I was gonna ask you that. First
I,
team to 21 wins.
I think so. That's what I like that. I think I would take Illinois and the points on that one. To me, it should be a lot closer. Next few games are kind of games where you're looking at, well, it's not really much of there. Ohio State taking on Marshall. Ohio State's favored
Oh,
by 40. Ohio State's another team. I haven't really bought into Ohio State because I haven't seen them really play anybody just yet. So I can't take them serious. I can't take them as serious as we do, not Michigan, but Texas or Georgia, somebody like that. It's hard to take a team like that serious right now. But of course, you have Ohio State. Clemson gets a tough matchup against NC State. You got Iowa State, Arkansas State, Northern Illinois against Buffalo, Louisville, Georgia Tech. I think Georgia Tech can actually pull off that win against Louisville. But if you're able to see the first couple of games here, Ohio State, Marshall, Clemson, NC State, do you think the Ohio State's obviously going to win that game? There's no really doubt in anybody's mind that Ohio State takes that game.
I take them. I don't know. It's gonna be a blowout, but there's still questions about Ohio State's team coming into the year. They were a very heralded team. They got off to a good start. Some I say they could play better. And so I like their team, but I don't think they're looking like the team that should be number 2 in the country. And I would have Georgia over them right now as well. And I got the Longhorns as the best team in the country.
Oh yeah, I mean, Gio's not liking the fact that we're taking the Longhorns as the best team in the country, but he'll get over it. He'll get over it. I'll send him.
Hey, Rudy.
What's up?
People can like what they like and what they don't like, right? But if you look at their team, and then what team in the country has 2 quarterbacks of that caliber?
Nobody.
So if nothing else, you're going to have to. Most of the nights they're going to be shootouts, so the games are going to be shootouts, right?
Yeah.
And when you got 2 guys that can deliver like that, that makes that a hard team to play. And then Texas does not have the slouchiest defense as well. They got a lot of athletes and guys that really they cover the ball really well. They're quick to the ball.
Yeah.
And this is the best team they've had in a while, I think. And so I don't think any team could beat them, but I do still have questions about Ohio State. And I think right now Georgia would be the second best team.
Yeah, I mean, like we mentioned, with the rankings out, Texas, Georgia, Ohio State, Bama, Ole Miss at the top 5. If you're looking at those top 5, I would probably put Bama and Ole Miss ahead of Ohio State. I probably would put Ohio State at 5. I think they're just top 3 because of the name Ohio State. I mean, I haven't really bought into Ohio State now, and no disrespect to the Buckeyes, but I mean, convince me. You haven't convinced me yet that you deserve a top 3 ranking. Texas has, Georgia has, obviously Alabama and Ole Miss have. Ole Miss has been, they've been
Tennessee
unconscious.
looks good. Tennessee looks good.
Tennessee looks amazing. And then, I mean, honestly, Dirk, I don't even know if I could rank Ohio State over Miami at this point.
Oh well, don't even get me started. Yeah,
It's tough.
I love the Hurricanes, man. I just think that's a team that's going to be around all year. I don't see them having too much of. I don't think they're going to be a team that's going to slack off. I think they like the notoriety they're starting to get,
Yeah.
and I think they're a team that's mature enough to withstand that. And I think they're going to have a special year. And if it ends up all these teams move up, the team that move out to me, Ohio State would be the number 1 team I would pick if any team went backwards. Ohio State or Alabama, I'll say, if any team were to go backward.
That would be a good one here. I'm looking up Ohio State real quick because they've got Marshall, then they got Michigan State and Iowa before playing their first ranked teams in Oregon and Nebraska, Penn State. So I will say this: the schedule for Ohio State gets tougher after Marshall. You got to go to Michigan State at Spartan Stadium, and again, that's not an easy game. Whether Michigan State is 0-30 or whatever, it's still a tough game inside Michigan State for Michigan State. I mean, for Ohio State against Michigan State. The Iowa game is going to be tough. Of course, they got Oregon, who actually looked good this past weekend. Finally, Oregon looked good. Then they got Nebraska and then Penn State. So you're going to see a lot about what the Buckeyes are made in the next few weeks. But again, first 3 games of the season, I know you're 56-0 against Western Michigan. You beat Akron 52-6. You're probably going to beat Marshall 52-7 or something like that. But those teams, I mean, you're supposed to win those games. Schedule a tougher game at the beginning of the year to see how see where you fall ranking wise. For me, I just don't.
Yeah.
I don't buy it at all.
Those teams aren't a good barometer for you because we still don't know what kind of team you have, how you're going to handle the heat of battle when you're in a highly contested ball game. So I don't like those teams you schedule that you're going to beat them 70-14 or 70-10. I don't think that does your team any good.
No, and it's like we mentioned with Texas right before they played Michigan. We're saying, well, they played Colorado State. What for us? That's preseason, and this is Ohio State. They're still in week 3 of preseason. Their season will start next week when they have to travel to play Michigan State. Tim wants to know Cal beating FSU. FSU has a tough schedule coming up. Anyway, you think Cal can maybe upset FSU because FSU is being upset everywhere this time. So they've ruined
at,
my
at,
bracket.
at this point, is it an upset? If
No,
Cal were to win
definitely
that,
not.
I don't think at this point. I think if you go by before the season started and you look at the rankings, it would be an upset. But at this point, it's not an upset. Florida State has not played good football. I don't think that's going to change. The team, I told you from the beginning, Rudy, I just didn't like the makeup of the team. And they haven't been able to put it together. And that's important. It's not like they don't have talent. It's just like they don't have rhythm as a team. And I don't see it getting much better, but I'm going to get them a win. I'm going to say they finally get off the snide, as they say. And I think they're going to beat, I'm going to take Florida State to win that game.
You heard it here first. He's taking Florida State to beat Cal. Tim is also taking Nebraska. Clemson hasn't lost back-to-back since 2002. Texas Miami are 2 best teams in college football. Yeah, I mean, I can't argue with the Texas Miami thing. I still got to give Georgia their love, no matter what. I still got to give them their love. Let's go down a couple more games here. See, we got some other big games. We got a couple of big games here. USC going to Ann Arbor, Derek, playing against Michigan. Number 11 USC, 18 Michigan. As much as I want to take the Wolverines, and I've not been a major Trojan fan, but USC has been looking really good this year. Like both sides of the ball have been looking good, and I don't really expect that. Maybe Caleb Williams was the problem, and they got rid of the problem. But USC going to Ann Arbor, I'm gonna take USC for the win. They're actually favored by 5.5 going into Ann Arbor.
Oh boy, Michigan. I don't know, man. There's no more JJ McCarthy, so they gonna have they don't have an identity right now. If you really look at the team,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna think I think that game is going to be a tough one. But I like USC. I think they've played pretty good football right now, but it's going to be hard in front of that 107,000. And I don't think they're ready to disappoint the fans like the beatdown that they took earlier this year. And I'm gonna pick Michigan for the win, for the upset, since they're not favored. I'm gonna call it an upset. Michigan Wolverines
That would be a massive win for Michigan right
at the big house. At the big house.
there. That would be a massive win for Michigan right there. That could definitely be a season changer for Michigan, beating the USC squad right there. Next game we're going to your fighting Utah Utes heading over to Boone Pickens Stadium in Stillwater, Oklahoma to play Oklahoma State. It's funny because Oklahoma State's favored in this game by 2.5, which is nothing. It's less than a field goal, but I think Utah comes in. I think Cameron Rising does his thing. They get the win. And this is where we start to see that emergence of Utah in the Big 12 play. So I'm going to take Utah over Oklahoma State?
Well, I think that's going to be a tough game. Oklahoma State is a really good team at home, and they just play off the crowd's energy a lot. And Mike Gundy usually has them ready. So
Yeah.
I think that's going to be a good game. But I like the Utes. I've told you all year that I like them. I thought from the beginning they would be a good team, and I just think they're a team that's a pressure. They know how to handle pressure, and I think Utah goes and they win that game. So I'm gonna take the Utah Utes.
Yeah, I just love the way Utah's been looking right now. Mekhi Bernard on the ground. I mean, he's got 274 yards the first couple of games of the season.
Hey, hey,
Yes, sir.
Rudy, but tell
Yes,
me
sir.
this: they're gonna have to put up some points, right?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. They're gonna have to
Because
score. It's
Oklahoma
gonna be a tough
State,
one.
yeah. So that's what's gonna make it an interesting game. It could be an aerial game, basically, and I think that's where it's gonna be. We're gonna find out what kind of offense. Utah. I don't know. Are they known as a team that go up and down the field? We know Oklahoma State is. So this is one of those styles make games, and that's why I think it's going to be interesting. But I think Utah nudges just barely pulls that one out.
Yeah, see, Tim's kind of on the agreement with us. Yeah, it's gonna be a high scoring game. I think right around that 35 and 40 mark, but it's gonna be a very close game. It may come down to just a field goal at the end of the game, but I'm definitely taking Utah for the win. I mean, you mentioned Oklahoma State. Alan Bowman is I mean, he's got 9 touchdowns on the year already throwing wise. The receiving core, you got Deshaun Stribling. He's doing good. You've got Brennan Presley is another guy that you got to watch out for. So a lot of these guys are, ready, and they're going to be ready for Utah. They don't want Utah to come in to Stillwater and embarrass them. So but again, I think Utah comes in. I think they win the game, and this kind of starts that separation from them and everybody else in that Big 12. They're going to see the reason why Utah's been one of the top teams in the country for a while now. I mean, they've been there for a while as well. Your
Could be.
Hurricanes traveling to South.
I'm sorry, hey Rudy.
Yes, sir.
Rudy, that could be a last possession. That could be a last possession game.
Oh yeah, no doubt, no doubt about that at all. There's no doubt about that. I agree with that, and also, keep in mind that's a game where the coaches need to be on their A game because if it is a last possession game, you want to use your timeouts wisely. Definitely. That's the kind of game where timeouts are probably going to be a key factor in that game towards the end there for Oklahoma State and Utah. Your Miami Hurricanes are going down to Raymond James Stadium in Tampa, Florida to play South Florida. Not too concerned with South Florida. I think it's going to be a lot closer than people think. Right now, Miami's favored by 17. I would probably take South Florida plus 17 on the game. Still got Miami winning the game, but I think it might be a little bit closer than a lot of people think.
Well, all Miami wants to do at this point is keep winning and kind of doing it. I won't say they have to win by 20 points, 30 points, but they want to look convincing. And you could do that just by controlling the ball at the time of possession. And then if when your team does, the offense does get off, just make sure you can get 3 and outs. And I think Miami right now has proven that they're one of the best teams in the country. I think on both sides of the ball. And I think they're going to continue to get better. And so, I'm picking the Miami Hurricane to win that game and stay undefeated.
Oh yeah, I think we're all going to be taking Miami on that game. Last game we're going to talk about before we head over to your NFL take on the Eagles, Derek, is Tennessee, Oklahoma. This is probably the game where I'm ready to watch this game on Saturday night. Not many people say, "Well, why are you getting up for Tennessee and Oklahoma?" Because this is a game that is a make or break game for both teams in the SEC.
Yeah.
Tennessee's been looking like world beaters, but everybody wrote off Oklahoma at the beginning of the year, and Oklahoma's actually been looking damn good. Jackson Arnold at quarterback. I mean, Oklahoma's been getting it done. So you're gonna have to see which team. I don't even want to say comes through, but this is gonna be a battle. I'm gonna love it. I think this is gonna be a high scoring game. Right now, they have the over and under at 57.5 for this game. I think it's gonna be more than that. I think it's gonna be 30 something puts it way over that. Oklahoma, actually, Tennessee is favored by 7. So that says a lot about this Tennessee team. I oh man, this is tough for me, but I'm gonna stick with my gut and say Tennessee pulls out the victory. But man, it's gonna be a great game. That's all I can say. Give me Tennessee for the victory over Oklahoma, but I think I'm gonna take Oklahoma in the points when it comes to the spread.
What's the spread? 7?
It's Oklahoma plus 7 right now.
7. Tennessee, man. I didn't have them as one of my 12 teams when we picked our playoff teams,
Yeah,
but I looked at them as the season has started, as it's progressed, and they look pretty good. Nobody's really talking about them like they should, but they're continuing to play impressive football. I think they win this game. I think they're gonna have to put up some points, of course, and that means running the ball and passing the ball. Because Oklahoma, another team that can put up some points. We talked about Oklahoma State, and Oklahoma's another one that can put up points. So it's going to come down. I think it's going to be a shootout, and I just think that Oklahoma's going to come up a little short. And hey, the best team wins, but it's
yeah,
not going to be
definitely.
Oklahoma.
Well, that's funny because Tennessee's on a New Orleans Saints type of kick right now. First game against Chattanooga, 69-3. NC State now ranked NC State. They beat them 51-10. And then last week
See,
at
yeah,
Kent State, yeah, last week at Kent State, 71-0. So I
both
think
sides of the
Tennessee.
ball. Oh
That's
boy.
why. That's why I think the Volunteers will actually go into Norman and probably take care of Oklahoma. But I don't think it's going to be by. It's not going to be no 69-13 or anything like that. I think it's going to be a lot
No.
closer than people think. These are two great teams, man.
Hey, Rudy, that could be kind of a physical game too, don't you think?
Yeah, 100%.
You
Yeah,
gotta try. Yeah, so both offensive line. That could be a physical game. I still think it's gonna be a shootout, but these guys aren't gonna go untouched. It's gonna be a lot of hitting that going on in that game. And Oklahoma, if you know, they're not a bad. They got history on their side. And
yeah.
Tennessee has kind of folded sometime under pressure, like we talk about the Notre Dames and the Penn States. So Tennessee has also kind of been there. Seem like they just can't get over the hump. But this year, I think it's their best chance to get over the hump in the last several years. And I know they had T. Martin before, but I think this team here is solid, and I'm picking them to win this game for sure. And I think they're going to continue to play well over the course of the season.
Yeah, last couple of games, Ole Miss definitely taking Ole Miss over Georgia Southern, and then you have Texas playing the University of Louisiana Monroe. Yeah, both teams are going to get it done. Kansas State at BYU. That's the late game on Saturday. Uh, I think if there's
Wow.
going to be an upset this weekend, it's probably the BYU Kansas State game. I think that's going to end the night. Right now, Kansas State is favored by 6.5, but I think that's actually a game where I can see an upset happening.
I don't know, man. Didn't Kansas State just play the other Wildcat team? It kind of punched them in the mouth, the Arizona Wildcats.
They sure did. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Kansas State. I have to pick Kansas State to win that game. I think they, after coming off such an impressive win, I think they're the type team that's gonna. They do well in the first half of the season. Their problem is usually in the second half of the season. I'm
Yeah.
gonna pick the Kansas State Wildcats to win that game.
Kind of reason why I say I could expect BYU to upset Kansas State is because they may be overlooking BYU, knowing that they've got Oklahoma State and then Colorado after that. So this could be one of those games where we like, oops, didn't realize Kansas or BYU was right in front of us. So could happen. Could happen.
I don't think they're sweating Colorado.
Well, nobody's sweating Colorado, man. Ain't nobody sweating Colorado at all. I have no doubt about that. But that's our college football preview show for here at Super League with Coach. With Coach Gio going to be back tomorrow, so he'll give us his college football takes for the weekends out as well. We're going to talk more college football probably on tomorrow's show as well. It's Hall of Famer Derek Irvin, Rudy Campos Jr. We're going to talk a little bit here before we go. For some NFL talk, we've got two games that we've got circled. And again, tomorrow we're going to get into more NFL talk, so don't worry about it. We got all of our NFL picks and some of our other college picks coming tomorrow as well. So you've got Baltimore and Dallas, and you've got New Orleans and Philadelphia. Now, crazy how it's funny because we had a YouTube comment. Somebody on YouTube left a comment on one of our videos that y'all are really considering the Panthers game as a look at game for New Orleans, and I think you and I made it very clear when we talked about it. We knew it was the Panthers. The Panthers are a bad team, but it's what New Orleans did the week after the Panthers game. What they did to Dallas, who's picked as one of the better teams in the league. So I'm not commenting on the Panthers game. I'm commenting more on the Dallas game. But nonetheless, going into the weekend, New Orleans is the hottest team in the NFL right now. And we saw what Mr. Did You Like That do to Philadelphia in Philadelphia, which honestly I didn't expect Kirk Cousins. I didn't think Kirk Cousins had the testicular fortitude to pull that kind of upset off in Philadelphia. Prove me wrong, but is there any doubt that New Orleans can take this game over Philly? I honestly, I'm probably going to swing towards New Orleans this weekend.
I told you, I still think there's questions. Philly, we'll find out a lot. If they don't win this game, Philadelphia, they're going to start being some questions around that city. Whether it's Nick Sirianni or
Yeah.
Jalen Hurts, the man, the $255 million man. He's got weapons around him, Rudy. I mean, what's the problem? The offensive line is not exactly the worst offensive line. At some point, when do you start looking at the quarterback and wondering if he's the problem? And if they don't win this game, I think those questions are going to start to be asked, and about Nick Sirianni.
Yeah, and I think before they go to Jalen, it's probably going to be the coach and his staff before they make any type of move. But you're right. I mean, the weapons are there. You went out and got Saquon Barkley. Now the offensive line, it's still a transition in the making. I mean, you lost probably the best center of the game at the time. I understand, but there, it's weird. We were Gio was a lot saying it a lot. We don't really know how this team's going to play. You've got some divas on the receiving end. We don't know if Saquon's going to be, fine with taking a backseat to some of these guys. And it seems like what's weird is people were saying, well, Saquon was on a bad Giants team and he struggled at times. Well, I mean, we saw Saquon drop a similar pass that Tyrod Taylor gave him last year at, goal line. He dropped it last year. He dropped it this year. Not questioning Saquon, but what good of an addition is that if you can't run on the goal line with Saquon?
Rudy, their biggest problem is they cannot stop the run.
Yeah.
The Philadelphia Eagles' biggest problem is, yeah, change of direction seems to get these guys problem when you make them move laterally. And they've been giving up a lot of yards. I believe last game they gave 150 yards up on the ground.
Yeah.
And the Saints are definitely running the ball at a high level, and it's not just Alvin Kamara. So I think the Saints are just rolling right now. I think they're one of the best teams in the NFL, and I don't see that changing over the course of the year. So I think the Eagles have got some questions, some things they got to still get solved. And I don't know, Saquon, he shake it off. Very rare that he drops that pass, but it happened this time. But I just don't like the team overall. I don't like their body language, and they're not a great defensive team, and they really have problems on that ground stopping the run. So I'm going with the Saints.
Yeah, Saints are favored by 2.5 right now. The game's going to be played at the Caesar Superdome in New Orleans. Kickoff is at 12 o'clock, so it's an early game. It's one of the early games, but yeah, it's I mean, Derek Carr's playing, fantastic right now. Kamara is playing fantastic, and the one thing that I've said about the Saints the past couple of nights is the fact that you haven't really got a lot out of Chris Olave, and you really haven't needed Chris Olave a whole lot this year. So if you've got Shaheed clicking on all cylinders, and then you've got Chris Olave, that's going to be coming around. Kamara, Jamal Williams. I mean, right now, this Saints team is clicking on both ends of the ball, and that's kind of
Did you see?
scary.
Did you see the record, David Carr? Well, not record, but did you see the record, David Carr? What he's got going on right now?
With Derek Carr? Yeah, it's Derek Carr.
Yeah, Derek
Yeah,
Carr. Yeah,
yeah.
they've had 15. He's had 15 offensive possessions. You know how
Scored
many
all
times they've
time.
scored?
Every time.
Okay,
Yeah, he's got it.
I don't. Yeah,
I always say I have to apologize because here I am screaming for Spencer Rattler to start eventually over Derek Carr, and here he is. Derek Carr is just putting up magical numbers for the New Orleans Saints. Tim Gonzalez is in here real quick saying Lamar Jackson's going to tear up Dallas's defense. This is really a make or break game early in the season. I mean, because you can go 0-3 if you're Baltimore, and then everything just starts to go up. In other words, you kind of like we said, you got the match lit. If Baltimore goes 0-3, you're flicking that match towards the everything because it's starting to get the fire starting to build up more. But if you go into Dallas, you beat the Cowboys, then it goes back to the other side. Well, Dallas is sitting at 1-2, lost to two of the two teams. Whether it be convincingly or not, I don't know. But then you start to question. Well, look at Mike. This is not good. Why did we pay Dak all that money? Yada yada. Everything of Cowboy fandom just comes to a head and then pop. It's gone. Everything comes out.
hey Rudy. Tomorrow, what they need to run that. Derrick Henry needs to run that ball 25 times tomorrow.
Yeah.
I
Well,
know
Sunday.
they
Sunday.
claim
Sunday.
they didn't bring him there to run 30 times and all that nonsense. But don't you have to go according to the team that you're playing?
Yeah, and it should be a force-fed Derrick Henry game. This is
Yes, if they
yeah.
really want to win this game.
Yeah, and it's Derrick Henry and it's Justice Hill. Both of those guys have to be just force fed the ball. And then you know what? Lamar's going to get his too. But you are 100% correct about Derrick Henry.
I'm picking the Ravens to win that game. I think they're going to win that game. I think they're going to finally get off the snide. I really do. I think they're going to come out and play good fall, best game they played all year. We know Lamar gives the Cowboys trouble. They've beaten them, 5 out of 6? Last 6 times they played.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to be 6 out of 7. I expect the Cowboys, I won't say they're going to stink it up this time, but I think the Ravens are going to play pretty good offensively, and I think the defense is going to be there as well. I think CD Lamb might have a great game, but other than him, I don't think too many teams are worried about Brandon Cooks and these other guys. So I think the Cowboys lose that game. I'm going to take the Ravens for sure.
Taking the Ravens. And, again, this is like the Ravens season right here. 16% of teams in the NFL history have made the playoffs after starting 0-2. So definitely the Ravens do need this game if they're going to have any type of turnaround. It's got to start with this win against the Cowboys. I'm not going to make my pick just quite yet. I'm saving that for tomorrow because I'm still doing my research on this game. I'm leaning towards Baltimore just because of how the Cowboys just really couldn't stop the run. I mean, obviously you could tell with Kamara having, a field day on that defense, but it also opens up the door for over the shoulder catches, the defense basically for Lamar to get it downfield to guys like, his receivers. So I don't know. I'm leaning towards the Ravens, but I still want to do a little bit more research before I start picking the NFL game here. When it comes to the Saints and the Eagles, I'm taking the Saints. I can announce that right now. I do like the New Orleans Saints on that. So we'll see what Gio says. I'm kind of wondering what Gio's gonna say about this NFL weekend. We got some pretty decent games. Do you think he takes the Rams over the Niners?
Well, it's beat up. Both teams are beat up, so I don't know. I guess we don't know, is George Kittle playing or not. We don't know his
I don't.
situation.
I
He's
don't
been
think so.
practicing the last 2 days, but they haven't said if he's going to play on Sunday. So they got so many guys out. They still have Brandon Ayuk, of course.
Yeah.
But this will be a chance for Purdy to prove, is it just he's riding other players' coattails, or is he a guy that can lead a team? And so something good is coming out of that. That's his opportunity without so many guys, and then potentially losing George Kittle. So this is like a coming out party. Everybody's been asking questions about Brock Purdy. We can get some answers this week.
Yeah, good point. And the Rams are struggling because I mean, it seems like every time you blink, somebody gets injured on the Rams roster. So, well, we're gonna see what happens. It's gonna be a pretty good NFL weekend. We'll get our NFL picks tomorrow on tomorrow's show, as well as some of the other college picks. We'll be going through some of the other college games. We will be at UTSA this Saturday in the Dome to watch UTSA. I believe it's Houston Christian, so we will be there in the Dome this Saturday to bring you some coverage from the Dome. But not only that, you know what, Derek, we got a couple of minutes here. I got a new segment here. I'm gonna play it before we go here. So give me 1 second. That is the new Rudy's rant segment. I've got for everybody out there. You know, I love driving. I love driving on road trips. I love everything like that. But is it you're a little older than me, so this may be the old man in me talking again, but I never noticed back in the day driving when cars are on the left lane and they've got to exit. They don't give a damn who's in front of them or who's next to them. You just over
Cut across. Oh, yeah.
all the way. Now, did I just never notice that growing up, or does it just happen now more often that I'm older? Because 3 times yesterday driving, these SOBs are cutting me off all the way over, flicking me off because I didn't let them in the lane when I had no idea because 2 out of the 3 didn't use a blinker. So I can't read your mind. I don't know where you want to go, but knowing your exit is point 0.3 miles away and you just decide, let me go all over, having one car hit the brakes and the car behind it swerving out. Luckily, there was no accident. But that's my rant. How have is it something that I just never noticed as a kid when I was driving, or is it
I
happening
think
more now?
it happens more now, and the reason is because you have the social media and you have the phones and all that. And a
Yeah.
lot of these people are on their cell phones, they're texting or whatever they may be, looking at pictures, and they doing this while they're driving. And then you get up, they instead of go ahead and getting over when they should, they'll cut all. It's like the next exit doesn't exist. They can't just take the turnaround. They got to get over right now, and they'll cut across 3 lanes of traffic from the passing lane to the first lane and get off, and then yeah, get upset. We're in an angry society right now. It's when you do wrong, you notice people give you the finger today,
Oh
and
yeah.
that's the society we're living in now.
Yeah, it's like it's not my fault you missed your exit or you were on TikTok or recording yourself on Instagram live, shout out Shannon Sharp, that you are, hey, I missed my exit. Let me go all the way over. Whoa, there's Rudy. Why didn't Rudy let me in? Well, Rudy don't know.
Hey, and if you blow the horn, they might flick you off.
Oh man. They, I'm gonna just say this on the air because I've it happened to me before. This didn't happen recently, but years back, it happened one time. A guy, actually no, a girl was getting over, honking her horn at me, and I'm like, "What are you talking about?" Literally, the car's here, and I'm like right here, honking her horn, doing this. I'm like, "What do you want me to do?" There's a car behind. What do you want? Well, Derek, this is the next move. She's pointing this way, and then she does this. I'm like,
To
"What
you.
the hell?" Okay, let me slow down, to whatever. She goes all the way across. She goes, this is the exit. She passes the exit, but still goes on the grass part and then gets off. I'm
But you
like,
have people that don't know the driving rules too, Rudy. You got to remember that. Everyone doesn't know the driving rules. You got some people that don't speak English here. I mean, I'm being honest. You got
yeah,
people that
no,
come
no,
in from
yeah,
other countries, and so some people, man, it's funny, and they do things that can cause a 10-car accident, and a lot of times they're not even aware of it.
yeah.
Just silly things. And then when they are aware of it, they get upset with you for calling them on it, for bringing awareness to it. And instead of them taking, saying they're sorry or whatever, they might give you the FU sign, man. It's crazy. You have to be really careful out there today.
Yeah, 100%. That's the words for today. Just be careful out there, guys. Hey, my dad always said, if you're late, you're late. They can't change that about you. If you're late, you're late. You may as well get there alive. And that's the way I look at it. I'm not the safest driver. I speed. I'm like everybody else. I speed, no problem. But I also like life, and I want to live a little bit longer. So do me a favor, everybody out there driving. Live with me. Live a little bit longer with me. Don't put me in that situation again where I have to slam on my brakes so you can get to your exit because maybe you are running late. I have no idea. But yeah, that's the rant for the night. I didn't know. I didn't know if it happened more now or maybe when I was a kid driving and just never noticed it. I mean, I didn't notice it back then, but yeah, I'm seeing it happen more and more now. So appreciate everybody letting me go on another rant here. Another segment brought to you by MCS General Contracting, La Casina Taco Truck, Special Leaf Tea, and Castro and Sons. So also shout out to Jeff Garcia over at Locked On Spurs. Got any parting words, Derek? Are we ready to pick them for tomorrow at least?
No, I don't want to pick. I just want to say I want to wish all these teams well in the WNBA because the season ends tonight, I believe,
Yeah.
or tomorrow. Is it tomorrow?
I
And
can bring up the scores now.
it's going to be playoff time, man. So I just want to wish all those ladies well. Caitlin and Angel, they're no longer rookies now. I know the Sky might not make the playoffs, but Caitlin's in the playoffs, so she's no longer a rookie. Once you get to the playoffs, you're a veteran. So we'll see how far she can lift her team this year.
Yeah, right. I think tonight's the last night, and it looks like Atlanta is going to get that last spot. So are they
Yeah, I figured
playing? Yeah.
I picked them over the Sky. Yeah.
Yeah, so it looks like Atlanta's in. So right now the matchups are going to be as of right now, New York, Atlanta, Minnesota, Phoenix, Connecticut, Indiana, Vegas, Seattle. We talked about that Vegas Seattle matchup in the first round. Could spell very, 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 very tough matchup for the Las Vegas Aces. But you know what? We'll talk more about WNBA tomorrow, knowing that the playoffs are going to start. So we'll do some NFL talk tomorrow. We'll do some more NCAA talk. We'll get into WNBA talk since the playoffs are upon us. Look at those matchups as well. That Vegas Seattle matchup is going to be brutal. I think if Vegas can get through that, then you may be able to see them maybe get back to the finals in the WNBA finals. So we'll get to more more WNBA talk. Needless to say, Asia Wilson definitely is 100% MVP with Derek saying Caitlin Clark is number 2. But nonetheless, we appreciate everybody who's a subscriber on YouTube. Be sure to go to YouTube, search at Sweep the League TV, be a subscriber now. We hit well over 500 subscribers in under 5 months. We're trying to get to 1,000, but because we hit 500 subscribers, we're going to be doing a couple of giveaways. Also, we're going to be giving some lucky person away a little bit of cash too for being a subscriber on Sweep the League. So hit that subscribe button, hit that notification button. We are coming to Instagram Live, I believe, is going to be another edition for Sweep the League. So we're coming up all over the place, man. We got Derek Gervin going into the Hall of Fame October 18th that weekend. So it's going to be fun, man. We're going to keep mentioning it every single show because it's going to be a fun night.
Thank you. I appreciate it, man. I really do.
Yeah, they're probably mad Rudy doesn't believe Shadur Sanders is the top franchise quarterback. Now, Shadur is never going to be a top franchise quarterback, Tim. You can keep saying it. You can try to make it happen. It's never going to happen. So, nonetheless, for Derek Gervin, Rudy Campos Jr., Coach Jess will be back tomorrow. Until we sweep the league again tomorrow, we'll see you later, knuckleheads.
Everybody have a good night. Stay safe.
Hey there, sports fans. I'm Ashley, your go-to girl for all things sports here on Sweep the League. Welcome to our daily news reports where we'll be covering the latest updates from the NFL, NBA, WNBA, college sports, and more. We're thrilled to be a part of the rapidly growing Sweep the League network, bringing you fast and fresh news updates every day. Make sure to subscribe to Sweep the League TV on YouTube for even more in-depth analysis and discussions with our amazing team Monday through Friday. Huge thank you to our incredible sponsors in San Antonio for their support. We couldn't do it without you. So let's get started. I'm Ashley, and I'll be sweeping the league for you every day. Stay tuned for the latest sports news and updates.
Yeah, this for the family. Loyalty, respect, honor. You know what it is. STL music. Let's get it. We the ones, never folded on ourselves, no bluffing. Legacy we building, man, this ain't up for discussion. They wanted us to quit, but we dug in deep. Motivated to the fullest, dreams ain't meant for sleep. On the grind 24/7, no time for rest. We making moves, calculated like a master chess.
Shemaya, you did it.
Wendy, the king is crowned. Wendy, king is crowned. Future of the league, and he's wearing it proud. We playing justice, playing checkers, no contest. Wendy's got the game on lock, and he's making it statement. I'm talking about Wendy, the next in line. Future.